I never thought I'd feel like an outsider in my own marriage. Yet there I was, standing in the kitchen with my husband's suitcase on the counter, helping him fold shirts for a family trip I wasn't invited to. "It's just easier this way, Emma," he muttered, avoiding my eyes. "Mom said the resort doesn't have enough rooms. She already booked everything." I wanted to scream. How convenient that there was no room for me, but plenty for my mother-in-law's bridge club friend and even her second cousin. For years, I had swallowed her sharp comments, endured her cold smiles, and convinced myself she'd come around. But this was different. Being deliberately excluded from a family vacation cut deeper than all her sly insults. I smiled tightly, kissed my husband on the cheek, and told him to have a wonderful trip. Inside, I was breaking. But I didn't know then that this story wasn't about me being left behind. It was about what awaited her, and how, for once, I wouldn't need to lift a finger. Main conflict. Margaret, my mother-in-law, was a woman who thrived on control. She planned every family gathering as if it were a military operation. Seating charts, color-coded meal plans, matching outfits for family photo time. At first, I thought it was sweet. Over time, I realized it wasn't about love. It was about power. She never liked me. Maybe it was because I came from a modest background, unlike the well-bred women she imagined her son would marry. Maybe it was because I had opinions, a career, and didn't play the part of the submissive daughter-in-law. Whatever it was, she never let me forget I wasn't her choice. The vacation was her latest weapon. A week at an exclusive Caribbean resort, without me. She called it a family bonding experience. I called it what it was, punishment. My husband, Daniel, wasn't cruel, but he was weak. He loved me, I knew that. But he also craved his mother's approval. So when she said jump, he asked, how high? That week while they were gone, I tried to distract myself. I visited friends, buried myself in work, even took long walks to clear my head. But a part of me kept imagining them sipping cocktails by the pool, Margaret smirking triumphantly at the empty chair where I should have been. What I didn't know was that the universe had its own way of dealing with her. At the resort. Margaret arrived at the resort with her usual fanfare. She had arranged for matching sun hats for the family, including one for Daniel, who looked ridiculous but wore it anyway. The check-in clerk smiled politely as she rattled off her demands: oceanfront rooms, specific dining reservations, spa appointments. She didn't notice the clerk's eyes flicker to the screen and back, as if searching for something. On the second night, during dinner, the resort manager approached their table. "Mrs. Whitaker?" he asked with a warm smile. "Yes," she replied, puffing her chest. "There's been a special upgrade arranged for you. A private villa. Courtesy of our premium guest program." Margaret's face glowed. "Oh, well, it's about time someone recognized our status." Daniel frowned. "We didn't sign up for that." But Margaret silenced him with a sharp glance. She was already picturing herself lounging in the villa, far from the crowded pool. They moved in the next morning. The villa was stunning: marble floors, sweeping ocean views, a private infinity pool. Everything Margaret ever dreamed of. She strutted around like royalty. But soon, strange things began to happen. The unraveling. It started small. On the first night in the villa, Margaret swore she heard someone whispering her name. She brushed it off, blaming the wind. But when she woke up, the glass of champagne she'd left on the nightstand had spilled across the floor, even though the glass itself was upright. The next day, she went to the pool only to find it filled with a strange, murky water. The resort staff insisted nothing was wrong, but she refused to swim. By the third night, things escalated. She woke at 3 a.m. to the sound of laughter echoing through the villa. When she stormed through the rooms, no one was there. But her suitcase was overturned, clothes scattered as if someone had rifled through them. Daniel tried to calm her. "Mom, you're tired. Maybe it's just Don't you dare say it's in my head, she snapped. Guests in neighboring villas reported hearing shouting, crying, even furniture moving. Staff checked repeatedly but found no explanation. Margaret grew pale, her arrogance chipped away with each passing day. She skipped meals, refused to leave the villa, and snapped at everyone around her. Her bridge club friend whispered to Daniel that maybe they should cut the trip short. But Margaret refused. This resort is trying to embarrass me, she hissed. I won't give them the satisfaction. What she didn't know was that the villa had a story. The twist. On the 5th day, Daniel overheard 2 staff members whispering. He approached them, and after some coaxing, they told him the truth. The villa had a reputation. Years ago, it belonged to a wealthy couple who had a very public falling out during their stay. The wife discovered her husband's affair and vanished under mysterious circumstances. Some said she drowned in the infinity pool, others that she ran into the ocean and never returned. The husband left in disgrace, and ever since, guests in that villa reported strange occurrences. Most brushed it off as superstition. But Margaret's arrogance, her hunger for control, seemed to awaken something in the house. By the last night, Margaret was a shell of herself. She sat on the edge of the bed, trembling, insisting she saw a woman in white standing by the pool. Daniel tried to comfort her, but he too felt a chill in the air, as if someone unseen was watching. When the vacation ended, Margaret left without her usual flair. No smug smiles, no triumphant speeches. Just silence. Conclusion. When Daniel came home, he looked different. Worn. Shaken. He hugged me tighter than usual. How was the trip? I asked softly. He hesitated, glancing at his suitcase as if it carried ghosts. Let's just say. Mom had a rough time. Later, I learned the full story from one of his cousins, who couldn't stop whispering about the haunted villa. Margaret refused to speak of it. Whenever anyone mentioned the resort, her face drained of color, and she quickly changed the subject. For the first time, she stopped meddling in our marriage. No more uninvited drop-ins, no more harsh critiques, no more manipulative, family-only events. She kept her distance, as if something at that villa had broken her spirit. And me? I never raised my voice, never demanded revenge. I didn't have to. Life had its own way of teaching her a lesson. Even now, I sometimes wonder what she saw in that villa. A trick of the mind? The restless spirit of a wronged woman? Or maybe it was something deeper, a reflection of her own cruelty staring back at her until she couldn't bear it anymore. Whatever it was, it silenced her in a way I never could. And sometimes, late at night, I smile at the thought. Because while she excluded me from the vacation, what awaited her there was far worse than anything I could have planned.